Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he's got it down.
How strong is he?
Now, welcome back to the Pick and Go podcast, your one-stop shop for all things rugby union. Well, Super Rugby anyway. And it is Super Rugby at the moment. I'm joined once again in studio by my good friend, Piri Weepu. Piri, welcome along again.
Good to be back.
Nice. You get up to much on the... Didn't you have some spearfishing
Yes.
champs going on last weekend?
I did.
Did you catch anything?
I shot 2 fish. my partner shot the rest.
What? So do you work in teams?
Yep. You can work in teams of 2 or 3. So if it's 3 and you've got a boat, one always has to stay topside as the boatman, and you just rotate between the 3 of you in terms of who sort of stays up every time.
Where did you finish in the comp?
19th out of 22.
Okay.
First ever
Go at
spearfishing comp, and didn't know what to expect. But,
where was it?
Kapiti Island.
Oh, yeah.
Every man and his dog left at the same time, knowing that they couldn't jump in the water until 9 o'clock.
Okay, right.
I thought it was boat in the water at 9 and you got to take off then, but everyone was off at about 8:15 after the debrief at 7:30.
And then out to
Straight
their
out to
spot
the
wherever they wanted to
and
go.
then just wait until 9 o'clock and then
First man in.
pretty much, and then hope for the best.
How long does it take?
6 hours. You get 6 hours to shoot 22 species of fish. Kinners aren't on the list, so I had to swim past those because...
Well, speaking of Kinners, we head up north to our good friend Ben Searle of Searley Talk Sport. Searley, welcome along again, mate.
Kinners, you reckon? That's one of the weirdest segues for an intro I've ever had, I reckon, eh?
But you didn't do any fishing on the weekend, Searley?
No, I didn't, mate. I was at full time for a 40th, so it was more just beers and punting. But yeah, she wasn't a great weekend for me on the TAB, lads. I don't have anything to brag about this weekend, that's for sure.
Holy moly, full-time. But you're there more than the staff are at full-time bar.
Yeah, it's starting to get concerning. Luckily, I'm shooting away for a couple of weeks now just so I can reset and let them have a little break from my punishing chat.
As you say, it wasn't the best week for me, you, or Piri, punting-wise, but we have a chance this week to get that back on board. First of all, I've got a question for both of you. Look, there's only been 2 rounds of Super Rugby Pacific, but boy, oh boy, it's been a festival of free-flowing rugby. So the question is this a better product than Northern Hemisphere rugby? And at the moment, there's quite a bit of Six Nations going on. So, Searley, in your eyes, is this a better product or are they fairly similar?
I think it's hard to compare, right, Test match footy and the intensity that has in the Six Nations compared to Super Rugby, because watching some of those games on the weekend, like that England-Scotland game was a roller coaster. France looked outstanding in pumping Italy, and then Wales actually made a pretty good knock of themselves under their new coach too. So it is tough to compare, but I will say entertainment-wise, Super Rugby this year seems like it's gone to another level early. It's been incredibly fun to watch. All teams just seem to be throwing the ball around, and there's been a load of points. But again, there were 3 games within, 7 or 8 points in the finish, despite being high scoring. So they're not exactly one-sided affairs either, which makes it a fun watch for a mutual fan too. So, yeah, I think the standard of competition this year has been unreal. The attack in particular has been really impressive to watch. And I think we all said it was going to be a close comp this year, and all indications are that it's going to be that. You throw a couple upsets in the mix on the weekend, and I thought that ticked every box. I had the Force to come last, and I had the Highlanders down the bottom for the New Zealand teams too. And geez, I got to apologise to the Force. They're undefeated, and the Landers tipped up the Blues on what was an unreal game. Loved watching that one.
Right, Piri, for you, do you think that the product that Super Rugby are putting out there at the moment, is it a better product than the Northern Hemisphere? Or, as Searley says, is it sort of trying to compare apples with oranges?
Yeah, pretty much that last part. Apples with oranges. Different style of footy over there in the way that they play their game compared to here. We like to chance our arm, throw the ball around a bit more, and sort of be quite quick. I felt that the speed of the game's actually probably gotten a bit faster by the looks of it, like compared to last year. And defense systems are trying to rush to get back into the system, but the ball's already out of the ruck, gone before they could even set their defense system. So I think the product here is probably what we've been wanting for quite some time now: entertaining, flowing footy. And I mean, I think this lowest score over the weekend was 50 points in total. That would have been Benel, Biden, Hawke's Bay. Oh, no. Or was it down south?
Down south.
Oh. So, yeah, it's been awesome. I've played over there. Totally different style of footy compared to how we like to throw the ball around over here.
So you weren't in the UK, you were in...
Both. I was in both.
Oh, did you? You made it to the UK. Who'd you play for in the UK?
London Welsh.
London Welsh.
They qualified to play into the Premiership, and then I got asked to go over. I really wanted to experience the style of footy that they play over there, and just to see what the competition like. Good competition, don't get me wrong, but yeah, just totally opposite to how we like to throw the ball around. Except for, I think there's a few clubs like Thomas Waldron was at the Exeter Chiefs, and they like to throw the ball around quite a bit. Saracens were littered with bloody quality players. I think half of their squad might have been international players. They were good at throwing the ball around as well. So, with great game drivers, some of those teams over there actually play an expensive game and get quite high rewards over there.
One more question, Searley. Will this style of footy translate into success for the All Blacks in the coming test match season for the All Blacks?
I hope so. One of the most positive things for me is the teams that are kicking the ball aimlessly are getting punished for it. And I think that's been a big knock on rugby over the last couple of years, is just how much force back there has been. But I think we saw in that Blues Landers game, if you send the ball down the middle of the field, teams are going to counter-attack now, and you're handing over chances for opposition teams to score points, which is exactly what the Highlanders did. Test match footy for me, it's just completely different, right? Everything becomes a whole lot tighter. You play that field possession, you're less willing to chance your arm. But I think we are showing that there is a lot of talent and depth in New Zealand. And a couple years ago, people were starting to question that depth. But I think you can see now in teams like the Highlanders with an average age of 22, there's some players coming through, and there's some that are putting their hand up for All Black selection this year, and there's some that are putting their hand up for selection in that next maybe World Cup cycle in 3 or 4 years' time.
For you, Piri, do you see this style of rugby, I guess, making the All Blacks a wee bit more successful this season? Or is it just, once again, we're trying to compare two totally different dimensions?
No, I don't think it'll transfer into that thing. I still think there's elements to the game in the national team that they need to get right. Yep, the boys might be high octane footy and running consistently for 80 minutes, but there's other parts of the game that we need to get right to cater for some of the game plans that they go up against. Especially if you look at the likes of I guess the Springboks, they've gone back to the old tech of putting pressure on the ball carrier. I mean, not the ball carrier, the person going up in the air, taking the ball, trying to get them to the ground as quick as possible, and then try and smoke them and go for the meter. And it's just, and also the line speed that they're trying to bring to corral. I think if you can get that, if you can work hard off the ball for that and make sure that you get everything right, I think we could potentially be a lot better. But no, I don't reckon the style that we're seeing in Super will transfer into the style of footy that that the boys will play on the internet or the All Blacks can play, I think there's still elements to the game that they need to work on.
Okay, let's. Searley's already mentioned some of the results from the weekend. Let's look back at some of those results. And round 2 kicked off with the Chiefs hosting the Crusaders in what bookies and most punters thought would be a close, tight game. But Searley, the Chiefs just put the foot down and the Crusaders just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, I think we saw on the weekend that perhaps they're still a class above than the rest of the Chiefs. And when you look at the impact they had off the bench, Cortez Ratama, Quincy Paia, Finau, like it's such a luxury for them that they have so much talent in this squad, still with players to come back as well. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs are flexing their muscle. And then you got guys like Leroy Carter who just can't put a foot wrong as a Super Rugby debutant. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting play moving forward, right? Do you stick with those guys on the bench? Because we've seen now rugby's a full 80-minute game. If you can inject that quality off the bench with 30 minutes to go, it can completely change the momentum of the game. Yeah, for me, the Chiefs at the moment just look to be a bit of a class above, but they've got some big games coming up as well. Yeah, just, again, Taukiaho and stuff still to come back. It's crazy, the talent they have down there in the Tron at the moment.
Pity it's early on in the season, but the Chiefs are all already looking very, very, very dangerous. And as Searley says, they have more troops to come back into the squad. And at the moment, Coach McMillan he's leaving a lot of talent on the bench, and they are making a huge impact when they do make it onto the field.
Yeah, I mean, touched on it last week, the other week, round 1, that their bench was huge for them. And it's come up trumps again. So I don't think he'd want to change too much in terms of that. I mean, if you've got a bench that can come on and add value to what the starters have done, that's something that opposition will be scared of, because, you're thinking that you've just bloody sussed them out, and then all of a sudden fresh legs come in and they just step up the game again and try and leave everyone behind. And I think the game was pretty close right up until like the last 20 minutes of the game. And the Chiefs it was like they had another gear and kicked in. And I think, Jackin played really well. D-Mac done his thing in terms of being explosive around the edges. And then Carter's he's been a gem for them so far. I know it's only 2 weeks into the competition, but boy, has he been huge.
Question, Piri, with this whole Cortez Ratama thing, do you like obviously he's going to come off the bench in internationals, it looks like. Do you like him maybe just playing this role all year and becoming that 30-minute halfback specialist that we're going to need him to be at All Black level, or do you still think he's the best 9 so you start him? Because at the moment it's working so well. Xavier Rowe kind of does the tough stuff at the start. He's got a nice kicking game on him too. It's kind of working, but...
Yeah, I'd still think that he'd need game time where he can actually start games, because you never know. If we do lose the likes of Cam Roygaard early in the game, he needs to be able to back up his performances, not just be a 30-minute type of guy. He needs to be able to still run 80 minutes if he needs to go that distance. So he still needs that opportunity to start. But yeah, I don't know. I'm liking what the product that they're giving. Have those boys sitting on the bench watching, and it's like they've done a pretty good job in terms of analysis. They're sitting on the sideline watching and can see things up and close. And then when they get on the field, they're actually executing quite a lot of stuff that we didn't see in the first half. So, yeah, it's a tough one because, Rasima's coming on, Rose playing, starting really well. Cortez has been huge coming off the bench. So it's like you don't really want to change it, but at the same time, you still got to give that opportunity for Cortez to get out there, do his thing, still, run the team or run the cutter, because you never know, he might get that opportunity. And I guess for that, he'll need, for that international window, at least a couple more opportunities to start as well, just so that can slowly, if this is the pairing that they're going to go with, he needs a bit of time in the saddle as well, so that if push comes to shove and we sort of go down the path of injury after injury, like we did in 2011, we need that backup that still understands that when they slot in, they got a job to do.
Yeah, they certainly have depth, and they've got more warriors to come as well. So it will be very, very interesting to see how this Chiefs season progresses. But at the moment, every sort of button that Clayton McMillan is pushing is coming up gold every single time. So I just enjoy the rugby that they're playing. Quinton Tupaia coming off the bench and just he looks back. He looks back to his he's playing better than he was before he had that nasty injury. He's really, really looking good. A Finau off the bench, Rati may as you say, they've got some players to come back. This is a very, very good Chiefs side. Let's move on to the next game. Reds, Moana, Pacifica, and Searley. Look, Reds got out to a quick start, and it looked like, this isn't going to be too good for one. And then they fought back. And then they sort of lost their way a bit. They just sort of go off the boil, I guess, at times. And the Reds made them pay for that. I think the final score, sort of flattered the Reds slightly. I think if Moana had a couple of things go their way, this could have been a lot closer. And I say that because I backed them plus the points, and unfortunately they did not cover the line.
Yeah, crazy conditions, right? It looked like it was boiling pre-game, then it poured down, and I think Moana just took a little while to adjust. The Reds were coming in fresh. Mentioned there could have been some cobwebs off the back of their UK preseason trip, but they looked really sharp, and they've got attacking talents all throughout this side. They've been a team on the up for the last couple of years, and they love playing that running, expensive style of footy. My biggest concern for Moana now is they've conceded 101 points in the opening two games. They can score points. They've scored, 80 of their own, but you can't be doing that and expecting to win games. So, yeah, defensively, they need some work there, but there's still some crazy talent in that team. Tamoifalau, again, was outstanding out there on the wing. There's plenty of positives there for Moana, but if they're not going to finish down the bottom of the table, they've got to sort their systems defensively.
On the wing, he was absolutely sensational, Piri, and wouldn't surprise me if he gets targeted by other Super Rugby clubs in the future, or possibly another code. But with Artie there, does that just make it a wee bit more, I guess, easier to stay with Moana Pacifica?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, potentially. Artie's made a huge decision to go to Moana Pacifica and play, but obviously he's told everyone it's about his culture and none other than Moana Pacifica to be involved in. So yeah, there's that draw card that you get to rub shoulders with one of the best players in the world. In Artie and learn from him. If you're not learning from him, then how are you going to grow as a player? The amount of knowledge, he's still young himself in Artie, and but his time sort of from when he started to where he is now has made huge. He's been huge. So if there were other codes trying to chase the flying winger, he was. Like you said, he was huge. I guess that tallness helps him out. That stride.
He's fast. He's evasive. He's got that little in and away that the defense just has to stop just slightly, and then he's off and gone.
Yeah, exactly. No one would think he was a sevens player with that bloody skill set like that, mate. So
he looks like
it's huge. I guess the downside to that, like the biggest talking point would be that try saver by Paisami, in terms of the head-to-head knock and whether he had arms. They said that he didn't. He had arms, but I mean, like in situations like that, what are you going to do? I mean, he's trying to score a try. You're just trying to fly in and stop him. Like, is that even a yellow card offence? Or is that just a play on?
Well, then officials have, over the last couple of years, tended to sort of err on the side of conservatism. So it's a very fine line, and the line is getting pushed more and more towards that's going to be a yellow card.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's move on to Napier under the sunshine. A beautiful day there in the Hawke's Bay, and a day that was conducive to open and running football. And boy, oh boy, both sides came to the party. And with about 5 minutes to go, was looking a bit dicey for the home team, the Hurricanes. But I guess the good thing for them, Shirley, they pulled one out of the bag there. They got out of jail. That's one that the Fijian and Drua would look back and think, gee, we probably should have picked up the win there.
Yeah, we said last week, right, you want to score first against them. You want to put them away early, because if the Straw side gets their tails up and they start playing that razzle-dazzle type of footy they could play, then they're going to be hard to stop, and that's exactly what happened. They were incredibly hard to stop, and it's good to see the Draw play with that confidence away from home too, showing that they can take the show on the road this year, because they're going to need to pick up some games on the road. This could be one come the end of the competition that they look back on, maybe if they miss out by one win, and think, geez, if we'd just closed out that game in Napier, then that would have been huge for our season. But yeah, well done to the Canes. No doubt there was a bit of panic amongst that team at times, but they knuckled down and got the job done. I can't imagine it was easy watching for you two, though.
Yeah.
Well, surely
it was actually pretty tough, bro. Like, but and saying that, like, Fiji blew like 2 or 3 tries as well.
That's what I'm.
And like
the big blindside flanker was Dere Nalangi, who he did the big one-handed. But he could have passed earlier. Just got the tackler to commit to him and passed before he actually got hit in the tackle, and then would have got a nice pass away, and they probably score. It's easy to say now, but you look at it and you think, there's one that's a try that got away.
Oh, 100%. Oh, after the great start with Cam Roygaard's assist, making that line break, 30, not even that, 20, 30 seconds into the game, Dupes scores the opener, and then you're thinking, oh, no, it's going to be an easy game. And then the Drua, it's like they were at bloody home. I mean, there was a little thing of just the Fijian fans celebrating, chanting and everything. And it's almost like that McLean Park was a home game for them. And, I'll give it to them. That last try that they scored off the line out, that was a well thought out plan and understood the task, and they got the job done. If they were able to close it off like you said, and stay structured and things like that defensively, oh geez, I think everyone would have been like, what the? Because I was at that time when they scored their try. What the heck? Bloody hell. I was driving back watching it. Well, after
wait, what? You were driving back watching
I was
it?
in the car, passenger seat.
Oh, okay. All right. Just want to clarify that.
Just hitting
Come
back.
on, Paulie, trying to catch him out, on the technicality.
That was going to be a yellow card.
I've got an iPad on my screen. Not.
Come on. Let's move on. Down south, Saturday night, the House of Pain, under the roof. Highlanders 29, Blues 21. Look, we've had a lot of open running rugby. I'll tell you one team that's not scoring a hell of a lot of points. That's the Blues. They've only scored 5 tries over 2 games. The Reds came out and scored 8 tries in one game. Now, obviously, it's against different opposition, but who expected the Highlanders to not just keep this game, but to actually get the win over the Blue? It was a highly emotional game for the Highlanders, and I have no doubt that really galvanised them as a unit. But to be down a number of golden oldies scrums, for them to hang on, and to keep the Blues scoreless for that last period and for them to pick up points themselves was just a huge, huge effort, Searley.
Yeah, it was a team that wanted to win, right? Like you said, pre-game, pretty special tribute there to Conagard and Bishop, and you could tell that this first home game of the year and honouring him meant a lot to them. And that last, 20-minute period when they were down to 14 men, the defence, the pressure they applied, forcing the Blues into errors and finding a way to win that game, that was incredibly impressive. And I'm sure if you spoke to Goldie or someone like that who's a true Landers diehard fan, they would tell you how proud they were of that win, because I reckon that one was pretty special. And yeah, the Highlanders 100% deserved to win it. There were some standout performers in there. It's interesting you mentioned before Taumoefalau and whether he stays at Moana, a guy who's moved from Moana, who was also a wing with a whole load of potential, and now he's a potential All Blacks bolter, and Tim Tavatavanawai. He's just going great guns. The young bloke at the back, Hurley, he looked unreal too. You can just tell that playing for the Landers means a lot to these young boys. And I think under Jamie Joseph, he's got them firing too. And I just thought this was a really cool win to witness. And well done to the Landers. Looked like the zoo was packed, and yeah, they deserved it. They wanted it more.
Shirley's right, Piri. Jamie Joseph has really brought this team together big time. And but for a last-minute heartbreak against the Tars, the Highlanders would be 2 from 2. They look very, very good. They got a young team, but they've been brought together. The fullback Finn Hurley was just lightning.
It was huge.
How good it just now adds another layer of depth to New Zealand rugby, and it'll be very interesting to see what Razor does with his first, I guess, All Blacks squad for the season. I'm not saying that Finn Hurley goes in there, but he's got to be on the radar now in terms of, well, here's another, I guess, applicant that we can have a look at and maybe slot in somewhere. But if you look at that Highlanders side, what impressed you most?
I guess the fact that they went out there, you know what? I feel like they tried to adopt exactly what the Chiefs did, bully them. And I feel like that's exactly what they seen the week before that. This is our chance to get them while they're wounded. Let's bully them and try not to, and be the bloody playground bullies instead of them always doing it. So not only that, I mean, like you said, Hurley he's been huge. Some of the tries he's scored as an individual, his pace as well. I think he played first 5'8" when he was at school, but still running around at fullback. And I guess time and space has been awesome. Tavatavanawai has been huge for them, moving him from the wing into the midfield. Got a good turnover as well at the right time to relieve a bit of pressure. So I think they're moulding really well. Let's just hope that they continue this. I know previously they've been huge. The first couple of rounds, they've always come out hissing, and it's the back half of the season where they usually burn out. So I'm hoping that this year that they continue this momentum from the 2 games. Although the first game they just lost, but I mean, continue this momentum and hopefully they can continue it for the whole season.
Searley, is it time for concern for your Blues?
My Chiefs. Come on, mate. Come on. I think the Blues should be a little concerned. I just wonder if they don't quite have the cattle in the forward pack at the moment, or the players aren't performing to the level where they could just get away with that bully ball like they did last year. They've still got some players to come back, and I think they will sort it out. They're obviously not going to finish bottom of the ladder. And I see people posting ladders left, right, and centre and giving it to the Auckland team, but I don't think that's going to be that long lasted. They do want to pick up a win ASAP though, and in the Canes this week, it's not going to be easy either. So, yeah, I'm sure Vern hasn't been overly impressed. There's just some star players in there, some big names that you could almost be excused for not thinking they're out there on the paddock at the moment. So, I think some key individuals need to really step up and try turn this thing around for sure.
the final game of the round was an Aussie derby, and the Force went down to Canberra, and they took the points off the Brumbies. Once again, another great game, open, free-flowing, and although it was high-scoring, still it went down to the wire, and the Force came out on top. So if we look back over the whole round, Piri, what was the biggest surprise for you?
Would be the Highlanders game, beating the Blues, and then the Force going to Canberra, that place that I hate. Wait, what's that place? I said it was... That's what it's like there. And getting the job done. I mean, they obviously played for more than 80 minutes the week before, and then have done an outstanding job to finish, play for 80 minutes against the Brumbies, it's not easy to go there and get the dub. So, yeah, those two games was probably the games of the round, really.
Searley, for you, the biggest, I guess, surprise of the weekend?
It depends how you look at it for me. I think people thought that Highlanders Blues game was going to be close. I thought the Force were going to get pumped. So, yeah, you could make an argument either way. But I do think, obviously, as a Kiwi rugby fan, I'll be honest, I didn't watch that Brumbies Force game. So I think the biggest upset for me at the time was definitely the Highlanders beating the Blues. But shout out to the Force. I had them winning maybe 2 games all year, and they've won them already. And Tizano, the flanker, he's been an anchor in my fantasy side. So cheers to him too. He doesn't just tackle everything that moves. He's been scoring some tries too. He's a real footballer. So he could be one to watch for the Wallabies as well.
Crockett, you might have to make him your captain and triple point him at some stage during the season.
Save that for D-Mac, mate. Up against Moana or a team like that, he's going to run amok.
Righty-ho, let's look ahead to this week. And the first of the games, Moana Pacifica are hosting the high-flying Highlanders. Bookies have got the Moana at $3. The Highlanders are $1.35. The line is 9.5, and the total set at 60. I tell you, these totals just keep going up. You know, we're only into round 3, but they were all, I think when we started in round 1, they were all around the mid sort of 50s. They're now into the low 60s most games. So 62.5 total points. If you look at this game, Searley, do you think the Highlanders can keep this momentum going? Obviously, it was a hugely emotional game last week. Can they draw on that and take that momentum into this week?
I think they can. It is a potential banana skin game, though. Moana, first game back at home. If the Highlanders wanted to rest a few troops and take things lightly, then I think they could be tripped up. But I do think the Highlanders will be too strong here. And that overs, Moana's almost conceded that alone in the last couple of weeks. So I don't mind that over total points too. But it'll be interesting to see how the Highlanders kind of bounce back and look to carry on momentum. And I'm keen to see how Moana go first game at home. Albany, sun's meant to be out. I think it could be pretty high scoring. I'll back the Highlanders though.
For you, Piri, Highlanders, are they going to be just a wee bit too strong for Moana Pacifica, or do you see Moana Pacifica building on their first 2 rounds and hopefully tightening up that defense?
Right. It's a tough one because I'm a huge Moana fan, and like this is if I'm just going purely off results and how teams are tracking, this is a game definitely that the Highlanders should run rampant against the Moana Pacifica team. But yeah, I think reckon it'll be a close one. I still think that Moana, if they can get their discipline right this week and still continue to entertain with their strike power and their phase play, I believe that they're the type of team that can actually get a few scalps this year. So I know they'll be at home and it's a tough ask. 2 weeks in a row they've been away. Highlanders are coming off a high against the Blues. I'm sitting on the fence on this result.
Here we go. Unbelievable.
Well, who are you thinking?
Let's move on to the second game of round 3. And the Waratahs hosting the Fijian Drua. Waratahs $1.28, the Drua $3.50. They're 9.5-point underdogs again, the Drua, and the total is set at 61.5. Searley, have the bookies once again declined to show enough respect to the Drua here? They're 9.5-point underdogs. Look, they took the Hurricanes all the way to the wire. They pushed the Brumbies in round 1. Surely they deserve to be favoured a wee bit more than the $3.50 at the moment.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe they're just running off last year's form away from home and just pricing them as massive outsiders whenever they're on the road. But I'm sure the Tars were watching that Hurricanes game and thinking, geez, we're in for a bit of a battle next week. They're fresh off the bye, haven't had to leave Sydney yet, so I think they'll like their chances at home off the back of a rest. Be a bit tougher for the Drua to go Fiji, Napier, and then to Sydney. It's a few Ks there. I think the Tars will be too good just because they've just got so much quality throughout their squad. But, yeah, $3.50. I think any team priced at that amount, and there's a game coming up next after this one where there's an Aussie side priced massively as well. I find it hard to pick a team with odds outside of $3 because I just think this comp's so close, right?
It has been very, very close so far over the first 2 rounds. Piri, only one real blowout, and that was Moana Pacifica last weekend. If you look at this game, do you give the Drua a chance in Sydney?
Yeah, I'd give them a chance. Definitely a lot closer than the bookies have sort of given them. I thought the style of footy that they played on the weekend against the Canes, they played to exactly the game plan that they worked on. If they got a few things right defensively, I think the game could have changed totally. Or instead of trying to throw the willy-nilly pass and actually giving a proper pass, I think, it could have been a different result. And I reckon that would be a bit closer. But like Searley said, they're probably just going off last year's results when they're leaving Fiji.
Okay, now we head to Saturday and the Chiefs hosting the Brumbies. Brumbies coming off that loss against the Forster Chiefs. $1.20. Brumbies $4.20. The line is 12.5. So the Brumbies are 12.5-point underdogs, and the total is set at 58.5. Searley, your Chiefs.
There we go.
Can they keep this steam train rolling?
I think they can, but anytime you see the Brumbies at $4.20, does make you a little bit surprised because, yes, they got tripped up last week and lost, but they've been the most consistent of the Australian sides for the last decade, or if not more. So I think $4.20 is a little bit rough on the Brumbies, but yeah, Chiefs at home, they'll be so confident at the moment. And there's so much competition for spots in that squad that I don't see complacency being a problem either, because if you have an off week, they're just going to roll in another All Black to take your spot. So you've got to be on your game every week. Yes, I do like the Chiefs here. I do think the Brums will put up a bit of a fight, though. I'd be surprised if it was a massive blowout. When's Rob Valentini back? Because I think they've missed him in the opening 2 weeks. And if they were to pick him up this week, then that would be a massive inclusion just for a bit of size and punch in that forward pack.
As we speak, Piri, live on a Tuesday morning, the sides haven't been named, so we're not sure who's lining up for the Brumbies or for the Chiefs. And it'll be interesting with what sort of, I guess, mix Clayton McMillan goes with in terms of the Chiefs and whether he mixes things up a wee bit. But as you look at it right now, the Brumbies is 12.5-point underdogs. They'll be looking for a wee bit of a revenge after dropping that game last weekend. Can they keep this one close?
Yeah, I think they could, most definitely, because like you said, they've been one of the consistent ones from the Australian side that have put up some results, turned a few heads. I think they might have been the Chiefs' first loss last year, wasn't it, against them? So, it could be another opportunity for them to bounce back after the close result on the weekend and push their case. And it's definitely an opportunity for them to go up against one of the best teams at the moment in the competition and push them.
Well, here we go. Next game, and the winless Blues come on down here to the Tinny House, and they take in on the Canes. The Canes are outsiders at home, Pity. $2.40. The Canes. The Blues are $1.53. 4.5 point underdogs, the Canes at home, and the total is set at 56.5. Of all of the teams so far, the Blues are the ones that have, I guess, struggled to score points. They have been defensively, they've been a wee bit better than most teams. But if you look at this one, Pity, the Canes, $2.40 at the Tinny House. God, come on.
I don't know what the bookies are looking at.
Oh.
Right. The results have been pretty tight, but I mean, come on. They've lost 2 games. This is almost like Searley last year bagging the bloody Crusaders, how good it was. He hasn't popped up yet about the Blues. But
Yeah.
Is there something that they know that we don't know?
Well, let's ask Searley because he's closer to the action. He's up there in Blues country, and surely Stern Vern is going to be putting this Blues squad through an absolute hell week of training, and they'll come into this one fizzing.
You'd think so, right? Because say they drop this game, their next games after that are Brumbies, Chiefs, Crusaders. You want to be 2 wins from your first 6 games at least. So you need to pick up this Canes game if you're going to go in at $1.53 favourite. Then you need to beat the Brumbies at home, and then the Chiefs and Crusaders. Those games could go either way. So it's early in the year, but it's almost becoming must win just for some confidence. Because you're coming in as the defending champs. All of a sudden, everyone's got the target on you. You don't want to be 0-3 in a comp like this. So, surely they rock up this week with a massive point to prove. And there's some big name players, like I said before, in this. Like, people are calling them out all over the show, on radio, on TV, saying, were these guys even playing? So you'd expect the quality to stand up in this team. And I think they're $1.53 favourites just based off the squad on paper still. You'd expect Hoskins and guys like that to start. But this is going to be a heck of a game.
Funnily enough, I don't think any rugby game has ever been won on paper. They've always won on the field, and it's a tough place to come down here to the Tinny House and pick up a win. So I'll be interested to see whether you guys factor this into your punting this week. The last game of the round, we head across the ditch. The Force hosting the Reds. Force $3. Another team who I'd say are underrated, still underrated by the bookies. They're $3.30 at home. The Force up against the Reds at $1.30. They're 9.5 point underdogs, the Force, and the total is set at 60.5. Surely, if we look at this one, the Force at home plus 9.5.
Yeah, that's when you look at it. The number 1 side on the ladder at the moment is $1.20 favourite at home. The number 2 side on the ladder is a $3.30 underdog at home. Surely that screams a bit of value, especially that plus 9.5. Force and Perth, always pretty tough, but they'll be so confident at the moment. They've had that underdog tag on them for the first couple of weeks, and they've looked like a team that's just really wanted to prove a point. And I think they'll look at these odds and feel a little bit disrespected. So I like the plus 9.5. I didn't think I'd be saying this about the Force in week 3, but I like that. That's anything outside of a converted try for a home side. I think that's pretty good value.
Pity, you also buying into the Force being big underdogs at home against the Reds?
I actually thought the Force deserved to be the favourites.
Whoa!
Well, I just think that they've learnt to play back-to-back games. I guess Moana no one expected them to go there and put up a great fight like they did. But to go to Canberra and take that dub there in a tight match, I thought they deserved to be the favourites in this game, especially being at home. No one really wants to fly to the other side of Australia, which is a 5-hour flight, just to go over there and play footy. So I'm kind of, I've just been enjoying them beating people that we didn't expect them to beat.
Right, let's have a look at our punting from last week. And
Cue the noises.
it's not good reading. I'm trying to bring. I can't even find the spreadsheet, and I just.
Well, we never actually bet last week, did we? We just moved on. So
there it is. I've got it. Okay, last week, Piri, what did you do? You had Devery to score 2 tries. Landers head to head. Oh shit! You won.
No, but was that a multi?
Was that a multi?
Oh no, there wasn't a multi.
You just took the Landers head to head. That was a win. I'll put it down as a loss.
Wow.
Whoa.
There he is.
And then you had Moana
Sad. Why you say I was no good there?
I'll adjust those numbers.
Probably wasn't much.
We'll adjust.
I'll take it.
No, they were. What were they at home? They were about against the Blues.
They were 420.
They were about a $4 shot. Yeah. No, I'll adjust that.
As long as I'm out of the.
Searley had 2 bets. He had Roigard into the starting hooker for
the Brumbies.
Was it the Brumbies?
Yeah.
Pollard. Roigard did you well.
Yeah.
Pollard did not. And then you had your you had your perfect round. You had the Chiefs to win, the Blues to win, Reds to win by 13 or more, Brumbies to win by 13 or more, and Canes -4.5. I think the only one you got right there was well, you got the Chiefs to win. And you got the Reds 13 and over, but no good there. And I had Moana +13.5 into the Drua +16.5. Unfortunately, Moana just could not. Yeah, thanks, Piri.
I love this. These buttons are so good.
Well, I'm going to move that away from you next week.
That's because you got me last week. That's why.
Well, let's move on to this week. And seeing as you're the only one who picked up a win last week, do you want to take us through this week, or do you want me to give it to Searley first?
Searley, because I know he's always organised.
Yeah, Searley is organised.
Okay. Perfect round multi. Have to stick to my guns. Really didn't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. So I've got the Highlanders, Tars, and Chiefs all head-to-head. Force +15.5. Hurricanes +13.5. That's paying $4.04 at time of recording. I'm putting $80 on that. Then my second bet, I am going with, let's go Caleb Tangito to score for the Landers, assuming he plays. Taumoifalau for Moana to score as well. And Leroy Carter continues his impressive form and scores a try for the Chiefs. A little 3-leg try scorer multi there. $20 on that. Let's get Larry. I'd only done the one bet in prep, so you've caught me off guard here. I've said I wouldn't get carried away this year, but now I have. Let's hope it wins.
Okay. He set a marker there, Piri.
I might try something different this week.
Boy.
I might go with
He back in the Blues. Here we go.
Hurley.
Finn Hurley, the Highlanders.
To score meat pie.
Okay, yeah.
To hold on a minute. I hope this bloody works out. Into, did I say Lomani or Ratuva to score into Roigard. Oh, wait. Hang on. Let me get that right.
Here we go.
Who did you say? Roigard and
to Carter.
Leroy Carter.
Yeah.
To score a try.
Yeah. And then Roigard.
Roigard to score.
I'll just pick one from the last game would be.
Jeez, he is going big.
Just give it a crack, you know.
He's trying to win the comp.
In
It's
the
a liner
in the third round. What liner to score
Yeah.
a try?
to score a try.
So hold on, because I missed something here.
That's all the games, isn't it?
Yeah, no. But have you taken a try scorer in every game?
Yeah.
Oh, so in the Highlanders game, who did you take? You took Carter. No,
Hurley.
Hurley.
Early.
And then in the Waratahs game, you took
I
Is
took
it Ratuva or
Ratuva,
Ratuva. Then in the Chiefs game, you took
Carter,
Carter. And then the Canes game, you took
Roy Guard,
Roy Guard. And then in the Force Reds game, you've taken
Liner.
Liner.
I'll put 50 on that.
50 on all those 5 players scoring a try.
Yep.
yeah? And then he just texts me his.
Yep.
Anytime.
Yep.
He just
And
texts
then-
me his second bet is Blues 13 plus. He just doesn't want to say it, so he asked me to read it out for him.
Wow.
And I'm going to go 20 on Moana head to head.
So Moana at $3. Yep.
Yeah. And then Canes 30 head to head.
Canes at $2.40. Nice. Okay.
Since Searley wants to do perfect game, I'll just try and pick the perfect try score.
Perfect try scorer.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Something different.
Okay.
Jeez, that'll
I-
be paying.
Oh, please put them in the team this week. Oh.
I'm going to take the Drua plus 9.5, and I'm going to take them into the Chiefs head to head at $1.20, and then I'll take them into
Here we go.
over 56.5 points in the Hurricanes Blues game. $100 on that 3-leg multi, over 56.5 in the Canes Blues game, the Drua plus 9.5, and the Chiefs to beat the Brumbies. Easy peasy.
There it is. Easy peasy.
Righty ho. What's on this weekend?
This weekend, it's the Z Money Wheel Champs up in Tamaki Makaurau.
Are you going up? Are you a judge or are you a
I'm
participant?
judging. I'm not good enough to pop mean monies. I'm old school coffin, staple here and there. And
For those listeners who aren't from New Zealand, can you explain what a manu is?
it's like when you get the tuck, so your upper torso and your legs are almost touching, and then when you hit the water, you open up and you pop. It's the pop that's the most important part. So you're trying to land sort of your lower back and your ass in the water at the same time, and then as soon as it hits, you try and open up.
So you're not diving, you're jumping into the water
and making a big splash
and trying to make it as big a splash as possible
Yep.
while doing a sort of yoga pose.
yoga pose.
Well,
Maybe
I'm trying to describe
Pilates?
what it looks like. Pilates.
I've never seen a yoga pose where you.
What, like that or like that? Like the downward dog? Like that?
Well, yeah.
What?
Oh, I don't know what you're up to. I don't know where you're going with this, to be honest.
Come on, Paulie.
Shirley, what are you up to this weekend?
I've got a pretty busy week, actually. I'm flying out tonight to Vegas. So, yeah, got a bit on, mate.
What?
Your phone.
Okay, hold on. No, there's no invite here.
Oh,
No invite. No. Oh, well.
sorry,
It
lads.
must be going really well.
Yeah. I wonder if Searley will be on next Tuesday. Will Searley be on next Tuesday?
I'm available. I can patch
he's
in.
available.
He's going chiming in from
What?
overseas.
Oh, yeah.
He's chiming in from
Where?
overseas.
We're going to cross live now to Las Vegas.
It's night time there, so
Yeah.
Shirley's sitting at a blackjack table and
Hopefully winners.
right, that's it then. Good.
what are you up to?
Yeah.
Every week you do that. You cut yourself short, like you've got nothing important. How was your trip actually?
What trip?
Oh, when's the golf trip?
Tomorrow. Heading down to Christchurch tomorrow, straight from the airport to Terrace Downs. And then Thursday we play Clearwater. Friday we play Waitakere. And the final round on Saturday is at Pegasus. And it's for the Willie Shaw Cup. So, yeah.
Is that you got to get invite for that, or
Yeah.
you just rock on up?
No, you got to be invited.
So I know half of those
Yeah.
members are from Moana. How did you
There
get
they
invited?
How did Piri not get invited?
You're like my uncles and all that.
Yeah, they'll be there. Oh, that's what I meant to ask. Did you bring any pickled kamu with you?
No.
Because I saw there's plenty of jars of it.
Oh, yeah. You want some?
Yeah.
Oh, next round then.
Oh, sweet, bro. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Oh, yeah. You know what else would be good to watch this week?
What?
If you're not, I know you're playing golf, but
Yeah.
there's the Te Matatini's on.
Oh, yeah.
It starts today.
What's it on? Where?
Māori TV, TVNZ Plus, I think.
Oh, sweet.
So
Where is it? It's in Taranaki, this year, is it?
in Taranaki. Seems to be a lot bigger this year. I think they got like 5 groups from Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they said 51 teams in there, so.
It's huge. I don't remember it being that long, and this week the prelims start today till Friday.
Damn, how big's the marae? Where's everyone staying?
Wow, good question. I don't think everyone's staying in Taranaki. I think there's going to be a few staying out in Whanganui and bloody hell. I think they'll be packed to the rafters. Everyone wanting to go and watch as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Wish I was going though.
Oh, you're not going up?
Nah, I'll just have to do the live streams.
Sweet. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck to those people up at Taranaki. Good luck to Searley up there in the big smoke on his way to Las Vegas.
Good luck to you and the
Yeah.
golf tournament this week.
Just there to make up the numbers, enjoy the camaraderie. And good luck to you with your judging at the Manu Champs.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. And good luck to you guys if you're going to have a punt on the Super Rugby. If you are, bet responsibly, R18. And we'll see you again next week on the Pick and Go.